How did you end up becoming a battle rapper?
Oh, this girl I knew through a friend. She was like a friend of my girlfriend at the time. And so we would have chill, like, she was like her good friend. We would chill, we would smoke, we would laugh. This girl was hilarious. And I don't know, bro, like once me and her broke up, like I still like thought of her as cool, whatever. She hit me up. She was like, yo, like you should try out this rap battle shit, no, 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 DMS. Like I'm boys with the person who owns it, no, 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 no. It's easy, She's like, you should try this shit. And I was like, nah, fuck that. And then every few months, bro, yo, like you gotta come try DMS, no, 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 fuck that. And I was like, no, 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 fuck that. And then every few months she would hit me up, And eventually I was like, fine, fuck it, whatever. What do I have to do? And she's like, yeah, just like send a little verse of you rapping to Feezy. So I send him like a 16 bars verse, like I recorded on my balcony or some shit. And he's like, yeah, yeah, book him a battle. So he booked me against Savage, and you watched it.
Yeah.
And after that, that was a wrap, bro. Like it was already the best ever.
So you came in with that. And that's like a preliminary battle. So let's say like if you want to be a DMS battle person, you have to go through like a tryouts process.
Yeah, exactly. There's a run DMS. You have to do your run DMS.
Right.
Um, if you're good at that, like if you exceed expectations, then you'll go straight to the Belmont, which is where we do our big events, where you're on like a stage and there's a whole like show basically. Um, yeah, but like right now we're hungry for artists. So any rappers in Montreal who think you're good rappers, I guarantee you're not as good as you think you are because you can't battle rap. And I invite you to come to DMS and get bodied.
Y'all are
Um,
like, we can't find battle rap. We can't find anyone to participate simultaneously. Y'all are gonna be trash.
exactly, bro. Exactly, bro.
Nah, that's fair. So as you're going through the battle rap process, I mean, you did that for you said 4 years. So you started and you just kind of that's been like your main focus. What's
Battling?
yeah,
Yeah, basically, yeah.
and tell us a bit about the process of going through this, being a battle rapper, preparing for a battle, and all of that stuff. Because I mean, my audience, those that are not there, are not the battle
Mhm.
rapper types. We're like a bunch of outsiders usually. So anyone that
Word.
watches it from my side isn't gonna take this stuff as inherent. So we're like just mad curious, like how do you do this shit?
Yeah. Um, I don't know, bro. I just fucking get my opponents first of all. Like I know who I'm gonna battle. Um, once they book the battle. Uh, sometimes like that same day where I block in the battle, like where someone hits me up and is like, "Yo, you want to battle this guy?" No, 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 no. And we agree to it. I'll get like a bit of adrenaline and I'll write some shit. Like I'll think of like, okay, like his name's this. Who is he? He's done this. Like, and I'll think of some shit. I'll write it out in my notes, and then I kind of lose interest after that little burst. And then when the flyer drops, like when they announce the battle online, is when I get like a next one. And then I'm like, okay, no, 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 no. I write some shit. I've put it together. I'm like, okay, okay, okay. I go over it sometimes. And then I lose interest again. And then once like it's the week of the battle, I'm like, oh fuck, like I have a battle this week. I should probably like start caring about this. And then like I spend every day obsessing about it pretty much for like the last 3 days up to the battle. And then yeah, bro, I just do it.
And then you
I
walk
could be
in.
better. That's my problem is I should really put in more work. That's my main problem, my friend.
I mean, arguably, you do a pretty good fucking job for some I procrastinate and force myself to work type dude.
Yeah, thanks, bro. But it's because I hold myself to a certain standard, I guess.
I mean, I can't tell you you gotta practice more or whatever. That's all on you. But like, I mean, sure, we could all do better and whatnot. But end
Mm.
of the day, it's super interesting to see like that you motivate yourself like that. Maybe if you like practiced all the time and you like over prepared, you would be like facing other demons. Like now you have
Mm-hmm.
1,200 bars ready. Which bars do you use in like? Cause yo, like I don't know what the right formula is. I've actually heard people describe a bunch of shit like getting early. Like I never am the type of person to start a writing assignment like too early. Like if I got a time limit,
Mm-hmm.
now I'm not doing it too early. I am that's why I'm a shit memorizer. Maybe I don't know. I don't have good
Yeah.
practicing, but like, yo, as long I mean, unless I have to memorize it, maybe I'll try a little earlier, but even then, like my writing and shit, the last minute, and then I bang out
Mhm.
fire, and I try as hard to like maintain a balance between that and being
Word.
like prepared enough, and like I
I
don't know.
find a lot of the best guys, bro, like in battle rap, they write the day before, bro. Like I've seen fucking Chrome write, like everyone considers his third rounds the best of all his rounds. And bro, he writes that shit the day before. Like he writes it the day of sometimes.
Y'all
Like
be
he's like
like
freaking
fucking
out
memorizing this shit.
because he writes it like him. He's different from me. How I told you, I write like little bits and then I piece it together. Him, he fucking writes from like start down. So like if he can't get past a certain point, he doesn't keep writing. Whereas me, like I'll be like, okay, fuck this segment. I'm gonna go over here. I have this shit I could work on. I'll think about because me, I remember my shit in chunks. You know, like I have little chunks or like everything rhymes. It's all a chunk. It's easy for me to remember if I just remember the way it starts and the way it ends and the transition. You know what I mean? Like everything else in between just
Mm.
becomes like
So you,
easy.
so what I'm hearing from you, and that's interesting, is you're just like remembering fours rather than like 16s, let's
Well,
say.
it could be four, eight, it could be fours, it could be eights, it could be seven, six. It's battle rap, right? So it goes
Right.
as long as I want it to. But I think of it just as a little chunk. Like in my notes, like I don't put an enter until like one section is done being rapped. Then it's like enter, it's a new section. Even though it's the same round, it's like a new paragraph, you know? But like they can be short, they can be long. It's just like that much rhymes, you know, like it's all perfectly rhyming and shit. And that's how it's easier for me to remember like that. But Chrome writes like top down, like he'll write like one bar at a time and he won't continue until he memorizes it and keeps like, you know what I mean? Like he'll memorize it as he writes it. So once he gets to his third round and it's the day before, well, he's writing it and he's memorizing it at the same time, which is like he's crazy for that, but like it makes sense when you think of it like that, you know. It's not like he's put together like a big thing that then he has to memorize as one big thing, which is what I do. He's just like memorizing and writing, memorizing and writing, memorizing and writing. Oh, it's the last day. Like, oh fuck, I
So
have to keep
how
memorizing
long
this.
does it take you to like set up? Like if you were to like put a total hours on an average for a battle.
I've tried to do that actually because in my notes, like I'll have the screen time of like the week before I battled Raiden Black or whatever. I looked at like the screen time I spent on my notes. And then I was like, how much am I getting paid for this battle? And like, is this fire? And like, it ended up being like very fire. Like, it was like, I spent like maybe 10 hours in my notes or eight to 10 hours in my notes. And like,
Mm,
by the time that was done, like, that was it, you know? Like, I didn't write much of that battle the week
you know
before, like,
what?
until the week of the battle.
Arguably 8 to 10
Like, the
hours of
sock shit, I
effort.
thought of like,
I, if I really like were to put 8 to 10 hours of effort into like memorizing a rounds, I probably could do that. Like that's like
no, the memorizing it, the
oh,
memorizing it is more time than the notes because I'll turn off my
okay,
phone and try and memorize it, right? So like that's just the screen time I spent writing on like my notes,
okay.
erasing, moving shit, like whatever, writing, like sounding it out. Obviously, memorizing it, I have to read it at some point. But like that was the time I spent on my phone. Um, but there is time where like after like the day of the battle or the day before sometimes like I like to say it until I'm comfortable, which could be like only 3 or 4 times really, bro. Like I could because I remember it in chunks. As long as I remember my transitions and how everything starts, like I'm good. And then once I feel comfortable, I don't want to say it too much because I find the more I say it, the more corny it gets. Sometimes
No, I know, I
some
get
bars
that
are
feeling. Yeah, I go through that
some
when I'm
bars
doing
because
verses, like when I record
but
verses.
that but you know why, bro? Is because that means it's trash. Because when I have something that I think is fire, I don't ever get tired of saying it, and I don't ever like
Mm,
regret saying it. Like I'm always like, okay, this shit was fire. Like I love
you
saying it,
know
and you
what?
memorize it so easy, bro. I'm telling you, you memorize it so easy because it sounds good. It feels good to say. Everything's perfect, and you just memorize shit easier when you're fire, you know. And like the trash parts are harder to
I don't know if
memorize, and
I'm
that's when
ever
people
gonna
kill me.
memorize stuff the way you do, dude. That just might be you have a superpower I don't. But usually there is some tone. It's never usually it's not the words or the flow. It's the tone. For me, when I'm having those moments, my tone is garbage, and I'm not willing to accept that what I'm doing in that moment is bad.
Yeah,
And that's why it's
yeah.
okay. I feel you what you're saying there. I relate to that
And that's
heavy.
why I hate a lot of my battles, bro, because the tone I have in the moment when they actually recorded it isn't the tone I had when I was rehearsing it by
Bro,
myself
I
in my
love
room with
that
no clips
dry
or whatever.
ass flat tone you have. It's so
Yeah, but
fucking
it's
cool.
not this, but it's not the same as when I'm like at home alone, you know, where I'm like, there's no pressure of a crowd and lights and camera and action. It's just like you get so much more into the theatrics and the whatever, like being into it. When you're doing it, you're like, oh my God, this is happening. Like I have to memorize. I can't fuck up. I can't fuck up. And you stop thinking about like what else you could be doing, you know, to make it enjoyable for the viewer. And that's what separates top tiers is they can put all that shit aside. And it's like they're at home, like alone, you know?
Do you do it sober?
Yeah.
That's fair.
Like sometimes I smoke weed and shit.
No,
Like
no,
have a
I'm
beer or
just
whatever, but
curious.
I don't get drunk. No.
I was at like this thing with the Spec Trax guys event the other day, and I did a round before I did alcohol, and it was trash, and then I did alcohol, and
Okay.
it was less trash. So I'm
Yeah.
not saying get drunk. I don't know. I was just
Could be,
thinking about
bro.
it
A
because
lot of
like,
guys do it. A lot of guys battle
but I
drunk and
was
it's fire.
nervous, and I said to myself, "Nah, this is nerves. It's not that I can't rap now. I'm just too nervous. It's been a long time." So I did the little drinky
Yeah.
poo thing. The little tipsiness
Mhm.
kicked in, and I was like,
Yeah.
balls of steel time, baby. I
Facts,
rapped in
bro.
French, bro. And then I got nervous rap. I don't know why. It was not my best choice. So I flipped to English and was like, I'm going to not do that anymore. I kept going.